Okay. So we are talking about man and machines. This seminar I presented in many countries, in America, in Europe, in United Kingdom. You can hear me, all of you, in the back? It's okay. Yeah. So why this seminar? Because this is the age of machines. We like machines, isn't it? We all have machines. Smartphone, that's pretty smart. So why this seminar? Because perhaps I think we are all surrounded by machines. The work which we used to do 100 years back by our hands and legs and our body, that is done by machines now. Like washing machine, blending machine, it replaces our hands. Or maybe cycling, tire, inventions that replaces our legs. There's so many things. We are surrounded by machines. We are not only surrounded by machines, but machines are replacing humans. Google car, no driver. And not only machines are replacing humans, but machines are also surpassing humans. In fact, probably they want to erase humanity. And you all know science fiction, Avengers, and what's Genesis and whatever it is. We all know all this stuff. So the point here is 100 years back or 200 years back, we were convinced that we are machines. Human body is a wonderful machine. With the advent of enlightenment and Renaissance, anybody knows what's this? Huh? Yeah, Da Vinci. Yeah. What's that called? The man. What's that called? This is. Vitruvian Man. Yeah. That's how it goes. At the age of enlightenment and Renaissance, people were trying to understand this body. And they were pretty convinced that this is a machine. And with the advent of in the mid 20th century, with Alan Turing, Charles Babbage, computers, and this and that, we were convinced 200% we are machines, because computer helped us to understand what is mind. That was a problem. With Descartes, we had this duality of mind and body. There is body and there is mind. We could really understand what is body because we had developed automated machines. So okay, we have this body, and machines have livers and pulleys, and body works like that. But what about mind? But with computer and software, there was a perfect analogy. A body is hardware and mind is software. And here we understand we are machines. We are convinced now. At the present time, we are all convinced we are nothing but machines, or maybe a lower grade of machines. And artificial intelligence is going to make something next generation of machines which are going to replace humanity. That's what we are envisioning, and we are thinking about that. But here's the problem. In 1960s or 70s, there was this person, Hubert Dreyfus, who wrote a book, What Computers Cannot Do. If you have read this, well and good. If you don't know, go and have a look. He was from MIT, and he wrote a book at the peak of computer revolution. And he said what computers can't do, and it was a big thing in artificial intelligence. And basically his book said machines can only do data crunching and mimicking, while humans understand and know. That's the crux of his book. The crux of his book was actually after 10 years, he came up with another book. MIT was planning to make a computer program, Deep Blue, you know all that, to defeat chess grandmaster chess Garry Kasparov. And they thought if they can defeat a person in chess, that means the machines are thinking machines. Because to play chess, you need thought, you need intelligence. But then he actually came up with another book, what computers still cannot do. After 10 years, still computers can't understand and know and think, feel and will. That's the summary of this book. Machines cannot think, they cannot feel, They cannot will. By will, I mean to say intention. Now, what is thinking, feeling, and willing? Let's just see about this. Can in future, maybe okay fine, now machines can't think, feel, and will. Can in future machines can think? That's a big question. Can your Apple propose Dell? Someday maybe. And they start feeling? Or maybe Sophia, and you know Sophia? And Emma and all these things, and then probably you can marry a robot and then spend all your life with her or him or whatever. Can they feel? And can they intend? Can they change their intentions? Can they say yes and no and make random decisions? Not just decisions, but random desires. Can they have all these things? Computer scientists will like to say yes. Down the line, 50 years or maybe 20 years, machines can think, feel, and will, and machines will be silicon-based humans. That's what they're aiming for, isn't it? We according to them, we are carbon-based machines, and they're trying to make silicon-based humans. That's how the whole industry is working on. Can science program a machine with thinking, feeling, and willing? Can it do that or not? That's the question. If it can do, then there's no difference between machine and humans. If it cannot do, then humans are unique. And there is the whole point of this seminar. If we are different from machines, we have to focus on something else, what is within us, rather than on machines. Now, I'll bring that point now. Well, let's talk about thinking, feeling, and willing. About thinking, let's talk about thinking. You see the point, there are two types of thinking. One is critical thinking and one is creative thinking. Is it? You all know? Critical thinking means analysis, reduction, calculation, logic, that a machine can do. But creative thinking, that a machine cannot do. Creative thinking means ideas. Machine can come up with some possibilities by randomization, by data juggling, by statistical balancing. You understand what I'm saying? Like computers, it can come up with possibilities, but not some kind of idea. For example, machines cannot replace Einstein. Einstein gave an idea of space-time curvature. Machine cannot give that. Machine cannot replace Darwin. Darwin gave an idea of evolution. Machine cannot replace Newton. They gave ideas which are on which your mathematics, science, and logic is developed. That machine cannot do. That's called creative thinking, which is unique to humans. Now, well, you can always say, this is one of the computer scientists, Stephen Baker. He said, man is dull and slow, but a brilliant thinker. Machines have speed and accuracy, but are stupid. That's Stephen Baker, MIT. He said this. People, see, intuitionally we can understand machine is a dead box. And there's got to be, humans are a little different. We have creativity. But the whole idea in science is to prove. You see the point? It's not your intuition which will work. You have to prove it. There was this guy, Kurt Gödel. Anybody knows him? Yeah, okay. Kurt Gödel. He was a contemporary of Einstein. Einstein was famous. Kurt Gödel was not famous, pretty much because he was a very shy person. If you read his life history, he didn't want to come out in public, but his work was seminal. His work had a great impact on science, and he proved by his work. This is his work on formally undecidable propositions of Principia Mathematica and related systems. You might not understand anything, but no problem. Don't worry about that. That's Kurt Gödel. He got a Nobel Prize, and the whole summary of this book is, he said, well, the point is, if you want to put creativity into your machines, forget it, because you cannot even put critical thinking in your machines. Your machines, he proved by Gödel theorem that any formal system, any algorithm you make, machines run on algorithms, isn't it? Any algorithm you make, there always have to be some kind of propositions or axioms in that algorithm which human has to put. Any program needs a programmer. You cannot make a program which will produce itself and run itself. It can never happen. Some basic programming has to be there. By human input has to be there. That's the whole Gödel theorem in completeness. From one perspective, he proved that. He proved by mathematics that mathematics cannot prove mathematics. Got the point? Mathematics is a language which we use to prove something. Mathematics is language of science, isn't it? Just like our language is English. Language of poetry is ideas or emotions. Language of science is math. So math you use to prove, but can maths prove itself? No. It can't do that. There has to be something in maths which you have to assume, and that's called axiom. You know axioms? You have to accept that. 1 plus 1, 2, you have to accept it. You can't prove it. You can try to prove it. Bertrand Russell tried to prove it. Bertrand Russell and Northfield Whitehead, they were great philosopher mathematicians. They had a project to prove 1 plus 1, 2. And they dedicated 100 pages to prove it, by the way. And after 100 pages, Bertrand Russell got depressed. Northfield Whitehead, he almost got crazy. And the whole project got crashed because this guy came and he told, your whole project is useless. Your whole life's work is useless. You cannot do it. Even if you prove 1 plus 1, 2, there has to be something else which you have to assume. And then you prove that there has to be something else which you have to assume. You see the point there? You get the point? And the thing which you assume, that machine cannot produce. Machine works on logic and some kind of theory. Machines cannot assume and create something. You see the point there? He proved by science you cannot put thinking into machines. It's done. It's done. Your machines cannot think, especially creative thinking. That's out of question. What about feelings? You all use this, isn't it? I don't have to tell you. You all use this. Tick, tick. That's all. So what about feelings? You see the point about feeling and thinking is different, isn't it? Analytical thinking and feeling are different, because this computer scientist Donald Knuth, he said, artificial intelligence has by now succeeded in doing essentially everything that requires thinking, but has failed to do most of what people and animals do without thinking. Feeling is without thinking, isn't it? If you ask any musician, is there any musician here? Anybody? Yeah, okay, musician, okay, you're a musician, okay. Okay, tell me, when you play music, you are thinking or feeling?
Feeling.
Yeah, every musician will tell, it's more of feeling. If you start thinking in music, you can't play properly. It's just flow of feelings, that's all. Music is like that. That's the more important. Feeling is different from thinking. You don't think when you feel. That's right. If you start thinking, your feeling stops, isn't it? I love you. Okay. I feel. And the other person will ask, why do you love me? Okay, let me think of 3 reasons I love you. Everything is finished. It's gone, what is going on? Feeling is a different reality for thinking. That's why he said, how do you put feelings in your computer? That's another issue. Stephen Baker, he's a technical writer. If you get this book, Jeopardy, read that. It's a beautiful book. And he said, one of the purposes of smart machines is to free us up to do 1001 things humans enjoy, from singing to swimming to falling in love. Machines can do critical thinking for you, but machines cannot feel for you. Machines can give you time to feel and do all the things in which you feel. And that's what he says, swimming, falling in love, and sinking. And that's why Elvis Presley, he said, Elvis Presley everybody knows. He said, computers may outthink us one day, but as long as people got feelings, we'll be better than they are. And by the way, we don't have any algorithm for feelings, isn't it? How to put feelings in algorithms? How do you even start thinking of putting feelings into mathematical equation? How do you do that? Nobody has any idea. Okay, fine. Here's feelings, and I want to put it into mathematics. How do you start doing that? From where do you start? Alpha, beta, theta, epsilon. What do you do? There's no contemporary mathematical language for that, isn't it? We don't have yet. So some people are trying to do face recognition. You see face recognition? They're trying to mimic, and then they're mimicking face, but what sense do we make of mimicking face expressions with feelings? It doesn't make any sense. The machine is not feeling anything. Just like when somebody clicks your photograph, they say cheese, isn't it? Hey, America, they say? Okay, cheese, and then cheese. You might be super depressed, but then in photograph, if you look happy. That's mimicking. That's all machine is doing. It's nothing to do with feelings. Feelings cannot be put into machines. That's out of question. We even don't know how to do that. What about intentions? Willing means intentions. Suppose I ask somebody, suppose I ask one of you to come here and talk for 5 minutes. And somebody stands up. And while he's coming to the stage, he decides, well, my God, what I'm going to do? I can't speak for 5 minutes, and he goes back. That's intention. He can change his intent. He can change his decisions. Machines cannot do. You give input, it will do it. That's all. It cannot decide. It cannot do something. Okay, now I'll not do it. And that's why Douglas Hofstede in 𝗪𝗲 𝗪𝗲𝗀, this is a beautiful book. He talks about 𝗪𝗲, and he says, one thing a chess program cannot do, if you ask a program in the middle of the game, do you want to continue to play chess? It cannot say, no, I'm bored of chess, let's talk about something else. That's basically intention. This guy, Douglas Hofstede, he's a brilliant mathematician and a scientist. And he develops, this is a conclusion of his book, 𝗪𝗲 𝗪𝗲𝗀𝗀. He comments there. The idea is, this person, Frederick Hayek, he proved, can machines maybe in future start having intentions? Can it have or not? He proved scientifically. He was a sociologist. He got a Nobel Prize for his book, Counter-Evolution of Science, Studies of Abuse in Reason. He proved that you cannot put intentions into any algorithms. Machines in algorithms. You cannot make any algorithm for intentions, because intentions means purpose, goal, desires. Humans are very bizarre. They can change their decisions every minute, isn't it? They can say something, do something else, think something else, see something else, talk something else. It's just keep on changing. That is one person, and if you have a group of people, how that dynamics goes, nobody understands. If you want to predict in this room what you will do next second, nobody can do that. There is no scientific system, there is no algorithm, there is no mechanics by which we can do that. That's the work he did on sociology. And he proved machines cannot have intent even in future. It's proved. That's the point. You see the point? Can machines think, feel and will after 50 years? These guys, 𝗪𝗲, Frederick Hayek, they proved it cannot be done. So what's the conclusion? The conclusion is human is a human. And the difference between human and machines is we think, feel and will. Machines can never do that. So okay, that's good. I'm done. Thank you very much. But it's not done. There's a problem there. And the problem is, even if you're convinced by me that okay, humans are different, we think, feel and will, fine, that's okay, we are convinced, very nice, we are all happy. But there's a problem there, and the problem is not machines, the problem is machine culture. That's the problem there. Frederick Hayek actually brought this term machine culture. Even if we think machines are machines, we are we. But you know what is machine culture? Machine culture is we want to think, feel and will through machines. We want to have an interface of machines between us and society. That's what we want now. That's called machine culture. We want to do everything with machines. Okay, our machines cannot think, but we will think through our machines. Our machines cannot feel, fine, but we will feel through our machines. Our machines cannot have desires, okay, but we will feel. We will have desires through machines, and you all are doing that. And you know how? What's this? These are apps. We are thinking. We are actually not thinking. We have given the burden of thinking to apps. We use so many apps, and it has destroyed our creativity, our original creativity, isn't it? That's gone. We have an interface between creativity and us. We want machine to do it for us, at least some part of it. We don't want to come up originally with some creativity. Machines has to be there. What about feelings? We want to feel through machines. Social media. You know what nowadays what happens? If two people have to talk, that guy will be sitting there, you'll be sitting here, you'll be giving a message. He'll not go and talk to him. He will be doing that. So you want to talk through machines, you want to feel through machines. That wall has to be there. You see, we are creating a wall between human and human, and that's how it's happening. We want to feel through machines. That's Facebook, that's WhatsApp, that's your Instagram, and what else? I don't know what else you use, but what else is there? Twitter, yeah. And a snapshot is, what's that? Snap. That's famous. Yeah, actually in one of the university in Dallas University I was there. He was telling students to use snapshots more than Facebook. I don't know why. You probably know better than me. But that's how we try to do it. We never go to a person and talk. We want to talk through mails, we want to talk through Facebooks. And you know what happens by this machine culture? Anyway, we also don't want the burden of morality and responsibility and intentions on us. We want machines to do it for us, isn't it? This is what? CCTV, isn't it? Security, cyber ethics, all these things are there. Why? Because people are not moral. And people don't want to take responsibility or morality on themselves. They want machines. Through machines, they want to do it. They want to bring machines in between. They don't want to train people. They want to put machines so that people are forced to not do some things. Train people. Work on humans. You see, this is all machine culture. Machine culture is trying to destroy the human factor. This is Frederick Hicks said. All these scientists, see, science is changing. People who think they can see what's happening. People who don't think, they are with the flow. And that the whole point of this seminar is make you think. We are going in a wrong direction. We are getting sucked up in this machine culture. And what is happening? It is destroying our creativity. It is destroying our feelings. None of us in today's society, we don't know how to interact. No two people know how to interact. And that's why, you see, that's why there is so much relationship problems nowadays, isn't it? What's that called nowadays? Cheating on? What's that? They say like that? Cheating me, cheating her, cheating him, whatever. It's a big thing. Two people can't stay together. Two people can't get, their marriage is not successful, their relationship is not successful. They don't know how to live together. They don't know how to reciprocate. Because when they come together, there is no interface of machine. And then there is a big problem. Now what to do? It's so intimidating. That is why today's relationships are actually based on love, but more so on fear. If he goes, what happens? It's people living in fear because they don't know what to do in this kind of situation. They don't know how to live with people. You see, am I talking sense? People spend most of the time in their room on computer, not with people. We don't do that. Or more so with phones, isn't it? So actually there was a picture somebody sent me on WhatsApp, and I don't know, it's reality, and they probably might have seen that a family is taking dinner and everybody is on the smartphone. The son, the parents, the relatives, and nobody's talking to anybody. And they come for a dinner. What do you expect from the society? What do you expect? You don't expect a civilization. So that's machine culture, human factor. So what to do now? That's the question. What to do? Okay, we have machines, we have smartphones, we have this machine culture. What to do? Nothing? Life goes on, no problem? No, we can make a change. You all can make a change. And what you can do is, there are three options, just three options. The first option is, you might have heard about this. Minimalist. You have heard about this? Of the great minimalist. You can just do away with all machines. First option is this. Just leave everything. All machines gone, electricity gone. There are people living like that. But it's not a good option because you can't do it. You can't basically do it. You can't get rid of smartphone. Definitely. We are stuck up with this device which is distracting but nevertheless useful. All bills and airport and tickets. You can't do away with this. In fact, I'm using for recording. It's there in my pocket. It's an integral part of our life. What do you do with that? So you can't do it. It's not a good way of doing things. Next option is you can read this book, Kevin Kelly, What Technology Wants. Next option is you can probably augment humanity with machines. That's a big talk going on. Who is this guy? What's this? Who makes this Tesla? Elon Musk. Yeah. He says actually he's a little fearful of AI, but the idea is augment humanity by machines. Google, and they are talking about that. You can do that. But that's another problem, because if you start augmenting humanity with machines, then you start thinking whether maybe your machines can also think for you, can feel for you, can will for you. You see, all that trajectory will go somewhere else. And then machines can replace humanity and all those kind of science fiction and these things are coming. That's not a good option. There's a third option. Third option is you will find in the Vedas or your scriptures, whatever. And the option is, and the idea there is, you have to understand you're not machines but humans. You have to understand the use of a human, the use of a machine. Oh, that's not coming properly, okay. The limitations of humans and the limitations of machines. You have to understand. You have to understand humans are very poor at speed, calculation and manual labor. Okay, let's use machine for that. No problem. If you want to come from Houston to College Station, use a car. I am coming from Houston. If I would have decided to walk and no machines, I would not I would be dead in between. That's all. Just forgetting making up. That doesn't happen. So okay. But machines cannot think, feel and will. That's a limitation. Don't try to do that. Don't waste your money in that. It's already proved. We should train humans. We should train humanity in thinking, feeling and willing. That's what, because it is unique to us. That's what we should be working on. We should focus not just on machines but on us, and we are thinking, feeling and willing living beings. We have to train our thinking, feeling and living. And how to do willing and how to do that? That Vedas suggest you can train thinking through philosophy. Isn't philosophy gives you thoughts, ideas, creative thoughts. It's not analytical, it's creative thoughts. You can train feelings through spirituality. That's what we are doing, meditation. Meditation is all about training your emotions and feelings and channelizing them in one direction. Your feelings all scattered, you bring and channelize. That's spirituality. You can train willing or intentions and desires by culture. Any society, any civilization is based on these three things: culture, spirituality and philosophy. That is civilization. Any civilization which is not focusing on this, it is proved within 300 years it will have its demise, it will dissolve. It's proved. It's shown beyond any shadow of doubt. You see any civilization, from Chinese, from Arabic or whatever, 300 years it's gone. We are at that cusp. It's already 300 years for us after Newton. Things are crumbling, economic crisis, pollution and things are happening because we are missing these three: culture, spirituality and philosophy. We are missing these three and we are focusing just on iPhone 10, iPhone 11, iPhone 12, I don't know. It's not there, but it's going to come. iPhone 10X, iPhone this. What's happening? Okay, you can have your iPhones, no problem. But what about these things? So bring these dimensions in your life. And if you want these dimensions in your life, that's why we read this book, Bhagavad Gita, as it is. Any scripture, not just Bhagavad Gita. It's not mumbo jumbo of some stories or some fairy tales. No, that's not the idea there. There might be some fairy tales to give you a point. You see the point? There might be some kind of stories which are fairy tales, but that's to help you to understand some point. Any scripture will talk about these three things: philosophy, spirituality, and culture. And this makes you a complete human. And that's what Bhagavad Gita does. Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters. Chapter 1 to 6 talks about culture. 7 to 12 talks about spirituality. And 13 to 18 talks about philosophy. And that's why we read Bhagavad Gita. And I go to scientists, I go to MIT. I present a seminar in MIT to physicists, and I talked from Bhagavad Gita. I said, you see the point. It's very nice to do science. There's no problem. But the problem is scientism, if you understand what I'm saying. There is no problem with machines. The problem is with machine culture. You have to bring these dimensions in human society. Otherwise, we will never be satisfied. We'll never be happy. And that is why Erwin Schrödinger, you know who is he? He's a famous guy. You got to know this. Quantum physics, Nobel Prize, Schrödinger equations, we all know. He said, I'm very astonished that scientific picture of real world around me is very deficient. It gives a lot of factual information, that is analytical, logical information, puts all of experience in magnificently consistent order, but it is ghastly silent about all and sundry that is really near to our heart, that really matters to us. It cannot tell us a word about red and blue, bitter and sweet feelings, physical pain and physical delight feelings. It knows nothing of beautiful and ugly, good or bad intentions, God and eternity, spirituality. Science sometimes pretends to answer questions in these domains, but answers are often so silly that we are not inclined to take them seriously. So, my request is, be humans first, and then decide whatever you want to do in life. And my request is, please study Bhagavad Gita. We have this book, Bhagavad Gita. We have there. You can have a look at some books. Read them. Read philosophy. As a student, you have time, isn't it? You can spend some time reading philosophy. Can you do that? It's simple. If you want to, you'll do that. Have a spirituality in your life, little bit, and understand what is culture. And then you'll see you'll be more than satisfied, peaceful, and happy. That will make you a complete human. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Okay. Any questions, any suggestions?